Sketching with Shaw. Today we'll learn how to color skin tones. Let's get into it. Today I'm going to be using my Prismacolor coloring pencils. Specifically, the colors I'm going to be using is light umber, sienna brown, dark umber, Tuscan red, white, peach, and light peach. I got a 0.7 lead pencil to draw my circles with, and then I've got a metal sharpener to keep all my pencils sharp. Let's get into it. The three skin tones we're going to be doing today is light, mid, and dark. Starting out with our light skin tone first, we're going to go in with our light peach, and we're just going to fill in this whole circle right here. And you kind of want to do circle motions to keep the lines at a minimum. Alright, next I'm going to switch to my light umber. I'm going to come in on this left side and just start laying in a bit of a shadow. And since this is a sphere, we're going to leave a little bit of a highlight over here. So you just want to shade around that. And when you're doing these first couple layers, you want to keep your hand back as far on the pencil as you can, because you don't want to push down too hard. Because if you push down too hard, then your paper loses the grit, and it'll be harder to lay your colors down later on. And this is where our highlight's going to be at. So just shade around this little circle right here. Alright, now we're going to go in with our peach. So we're laying down a little bit of a mid-tone. You don't want to go too far to your highlight, and you don't want to go too far back. I actually need to sharpen my pencils real quick. Alright, now that my pencil's actually sharpened, let's get back into it. Wanting to make sure you're getting a nice even layer across the whole page, or the whole area. Slowly work your way toward the middle, toward that highlight. And once this layer is done, we're actually going to go back in with our light peach and just kind of blend this out. You want to try to merge those two colors together. Now is when you can start pushing down a little bit harder with your pencils. But still not pushing down too hard to where you create marks you can't get rid of. Once that's blended out pretty good, we're going to go back in with our peach. Just blend it out even farther a little bit. Slowly making our way toward our shadow. Now I'm going to go back in with my light umber and just really bring these shadows out on the edges. And you can actually go back over it with your white to kind of blend everything together. Just to kind of smooth things out. And there we have our light skin tone is complete. Now moving on to the mid-tone. Alright, first color I'm going to be using for the mid-tone skin tone is the light umber. And we're just going to slowly fill in this circle like we did with the first one and just get a whole layer down. Once again, since this is our first couple layers, we're not going to be pushing too hard on the pencil, keeping our hand far back as we do it. Now that we got our base layer down, we're actually going to come in with our sienna brown. Then just like we did on that one, we're just going to leave a highlight right here and then fill in the shadows as we get closer to it. Once again, still not putting too much pressure. And just like before, that's about the spot where our highlight's going to be at. I'm just going to come over here and just make these a little bit darker. Still using the sienna brown. Now I'm going to come in with the Tuscan red and not pushing down too much because you don't want too much of that red color, but you want enough just to give it a little bit of life. Just gives it a little bit of extra color to these shadows. And now I'm going to come in with dark umber and really darken up these shadows. And with the darker colors, you want to lift up really lightly when you're getting close to your highlight, because if you get some of this dark color in your highlight, it's really hard to get rid of it. Now I'm going to go in with my light umber and start working my way backwards, back toward the shadows. And just pretty much want to fill this whole area back up with the light umber. Because all the layering we did before made the light umber super dark back here, but the light umber up here is still pretty light, so all those layers we just put down pretty much did all the work for us. And now that we got all those layers done, I'm just going to go in just like we did with the first one and just blend it all together with my blank white. Starting at my lightest highlight right here and working my way toward the shadows. And now I'm just going to go in with my dark umber and just give these shadows a little bit more darkness to them, since we lost a little bit when we blended it with the white. And then I just went over the highlight with my light peach just to give it a little bit of color. And there we have our mid-tone complete. Alright, now for our dark skin tone, we're going to come in with our sienna brown and then just put down a whole layer, filling up the whole circle like we did with the other two. And y'all can probably already guess, but we're going to have our highlight over here. But since this is going to be a full layer, I can just go ahead and color that in, but that's where our highlight's going to be. Alright, I didn't like how the mid-tone finished up, so I actually went back and put some Tuscan red in the shadows and then went back over it with my light peach. Now I think it looks a lot better. And then I also finished up the first layer of the dark tone over here. But now that we got our base layer down for our dark skin tone, now we're going to come in with our dark umber. Just start darkening up these edges a little bit. Alright, now that our second layer is done, I'm actually going to go in with the same color, so dark umber again, and just push down a little bit harder and just make these shadows a little bit darker. But I'm still not pushing down all the way. Still leaving a little bit of tooth for the layers later on. Now I'm going to come in with my Tuscan red and start on my shadows and make my way toward the highlight. Now I'm going to come in with my 927 and just start at my highlight and work my way out. And now switching back to my sienna brown, I'm just going to kind of blend everything together. And now I'm going to go back in my dark umber just to darken up the shadows a little bit more. And there we have our dark skin tone complete. I still wasn't happy with the mid-tone, so I went back over it again with the sienna brown, and now I think it's perfect. And now we have our light, mid, and dark skin tones. Well, that pretty much sums up today's video. Y'all already know. If you learned or used anything from today's video, tell me about it in the comments below, or follow me on Instagram, post a pic and tag me in it. But until next time, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and peace.